we're going to begin this hour with news of another troubling incident aboard a U.S. Navy ship. The guided missile destroyer USS Benfold lost power for 4 days during its deployment in Southeast Asia in July. This was not publicly disclosed for nearly a month. Charlie Daggett is here with the details. So, Charlie, why are we just learning about this now?
Yeah, Vlad, it's a pretty good question to start with, right? And I think it's probably because there's a lot of attention on the Navy right now, and this happened in the South China Sea. But yeah, we just found out about it yesterday, and we're getting more details about it. It doesn't happen that often, I have to point out. But what we know is the loss of power left the crew without air conditioning, toilets, potable water, normal gallery services aboard this 10,000-ton vessel. So here's what we know. According to a spokesperson with the Navy's 7th Fleet, the ship lost power in the South China Sea back on July 24th after a generator failure. Another vessel, the USS Robert Smalls, that's a cruiser, had to help provide meals to the crew. The destroyer was then towed to Subic Bay in the Philippines on July 28th, so power was restored 2 days later. Now, all the repairs to the ship were finished by August 8th. The Navy says there were no casualties, but the cause of the power loss is still under investigation. And as you know, we've been discussing this. This comes as the Navy is facing all kinds of questions aboard the Abraham Lincoln, including reports of mental health concerns. The carrier has been deployed for 270 days without going to port during the war with Iran. So, again, the Pentagon has pushed back on those reports. Now, with the Benfold being in the South China Sea, besides the conditions being really hot and stuffy and uncomfortable, I've been on one of those destroyers for those people on board. It's not in friendly waters. And officials that I spoke with said there are still what they call crew-served weapons on board that enable it to defend itself. It's also obviously protected with other air and surface assets nearby. In their words, they're not going to leave an asset to attack, in their words, like a sitting duck. Gayle?
Oh boy, that's very scary. Thank you, Charlie.